And as usual, as what I said before, I would always like to try to have a special guest with us when I do the shows, and specifically someone to bat for the men's side. So welcome to the show, BJ.
Thank you very much.
And for those that listen to GLF, BJ is one of our other announcers, and with his own show as well. So glad you're on the Relationship Whisperer show this
so
time.
Good to come in and bat for the men's
team, yeah. Stick up for the guys, eh? And we are coming live from the studio today. Okay, now.
How was your week?
Okay, quite an eventful week. I mean, yesterday the station had our sausage sizzle. It was at Smithfield Bunnings. And I have to say, yes, it was pretty good. Pretty good. We were pretty busy.
You did a great job. You did a marvellous job.
And unlike many places, we do the buns instead of the sandwich slices.
Oh, yeah,
for
right.
people wanted to know where they can get a bun instead of the sandwich slice. I don't know about you, but people push for the sandwich slice, saying that's nostalgic. And is that like a primary school thing back in the old days?
I don't know.
But I think a lot of people, from all the feedback, they prefer the buns.
Oh, look, the barbecue is great down there. We have a great time, and probably the best thing for me is just to be able to share time with other presenters, because we don't get a lot of time to spend together outside of broadcasting. Really.
No,
so
we definitely don't, and so it's a good thing. And so come every first Saturday of every month.
Yeah,
That we're there, and get your delicious sausage sizzle on a bun.
And
say, have the station, say hello to all of us, and you can meet us all in person as well. All right, so back to the show. Now, I've been giving out a lot of relationship advice and a lot of angles on how to view things, and it is very different for those that have followed my program, and that really shifts to how you can look at things, and it's a completely different way of looking at things. I think those that are familiar with the program would agree. Though I think it's time to put it into practice and actually show people how you put it into practice with situations, love situations.
Oh, this is exciting.
Okay, we're down to this now. And so these are the questions that we've had sent in to us that we'll go through, and we'll give our view on it, both my view and BJ's view. But also later on, we will be taking questions directly from our listeners. So if you have a relationship question, a general one, or you're in a certain situation and don't know what to do or what it means, how to interpret it, you can give us a call.
Yeah, give us a call here at the station, 9822 8893.
Yeah, or you can give us a call right now if you've got a question.
So what's the first one, Miss Dragonfly?
The first one, if you want to go through it, this is quite a lengthy one.
Mm-hmm.
Tough stuff. All right.
Tough stuff.
Okay. Now, because it's a guy's question, would you like to read this one?
Sure.
Yeah.
Me and my girl have been dating for a while, and I really got along well with her. I feel naive to say this, but I step into relationships with the mindset of it always being long-term.
Good boy.
For the first couple of months, it was great. The connection, the hobbies, the interests, and the sex too. But after month 4, she started to show signs of neediness and overall anxious attachment. This slowly grew into false accusations of cheating and slowly breaking boundaries that, I take full responsibility, but gave up for her to ease her insecurities. It's now 11 months and we're having a kid. I was excited, but the writing was on the wall because she started to ramp up and really dive deep into codependency and the threats of letting that go, telling me, well, if you're not going to help, I'll just raise this kid on my own. This was clearly heavy projection of abandonment, so I finally started putting my foot down and reinforcing my boundaries. And in terms of meeting obligations outside of her, like chores and work, being able to see my friends and family. It got to the point where I wouldn't see them for a month and a half sometimes, not allowing myself to be blamed and projected on when it came to arguments. Just making time for myself to shower, sleep and eat and do the things that make me happy, and letting her make her own decisions rather than letting her depend on me financially, emotionally, goal-wise and also physically. She protested heavily with you're abandoning me, you're seeing someone else, you don't care about me. I'm more than willing to raise a kid. I want to be a father. I made all this clear. It got to the point in the argument where she told me to get out and got mad to the point of dragging me out the door in my underwear on the street. This is my first time dealing with this stuff. She has dealt with it with family since she was a child coming from Mexico, with a cartel dad and mum that was toxically hooked into that. And now I'm afraid, and me and my child are next. I'm aware it does take two to tango, and she didn't do this by herself without my help. But it's now reached a point where I see things clearly. She's feeling she needs me, and when I get a backbone, it just met with projection, threats, emotional blackmail, emotional abuse, and now I have to consider physical. Do I aim for co-parenting, Miss Dragonfly? Do I legally fight for my kid? I'm more financially independent, punctual, organised in every way and emotionally ready to take on the role of a single father? Or do I seek couples counselling? Please help me.
Whoa, lots.
It's a lot there.
It's a lot there. So let's start dissecting this for a while. Okay. It's a good thing that he's got the mindset of always being a long-term relationship. However, this is the thing. If you're looking for long-term relationships, you have to be very choosy, I have to say, rather than something casual. Like I say, if you're after something casual, it doesn't matter. All you need is someone good-looking and fun. Mm-hmm. Don't overthink it. Yeah, that's all you need. Okay. But when you want something for the long term, as in this gentleman here, you always have to think about, is that person really right for me? Is that person what I need rather than what I want? Okay, because he's saying here, first couple of months it was great, connection, hobbies, interests, and sex. But nothing really talk about personality or values or goals. He hasn't mentioned that, you see. So he wasn't really considering any of that. So this is the thing. Like I keep saying, the person you choose to be your life partner, assuming like he wants someone long-term, which is a life partner, is the most important decision of your life. More than what career you're going to take or what country you're going to live in.
It's such an important decision.
It's such an important decision because it affects every aspect of your life. I mean, like a business partner, if you take one on, the most they'll affect is your business. Yeah. But your life partner, it affects everything. Finances, family, emotion, your work, everything. What you do in life, because then you're sharing a life together. People hear it all the time. Yeah, sharing a life together. But they don't seem to understand what it actually means. Whatever you do, you have to consider the other person as well. So, and that's because then if you've got this, but that doesn't, and people complain about the lack of freedom. They and so those bachelor parties they have, and it's built its own. Oh yeah, this is your last night of freedom. Yeah. And so they're painted on as it's like you're going to jail, you lose freedom. But the thing is, if you have your partner is of the same mindset and wants the same things you do and to do the same things you, well, what freedom have you lost?
Yeah.
And you've only gained a helper.
What have you gained?
You gained a helper in that stead as well. It's just like if you were going to go, some people say, oh, be yourself, so I'm going to go mountain climbing, for instance. Okay, but I don't want someone else to stop me from doing that. But if you had someone that also wanted to do mountain climbing, you go together. Well, it doesn't stop you from doing that mountain climbing, but it also gains you because what if that person, it's also an added safety feature. Person can look out for you.
Yeah.
Or what if you had a fall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
There's things to
so,
do.
what do you think this young man has? Do you think that in his mind, he's already left this relationship, Miss Dragonfly? Do you think he's already out?
He wants to be out. It's kind of like he's opened the door and he's put one foot out, and he wants to drag the other foot out as well and actually leave, but it's because of the child.
So do you feel that he's using the child is what's making him stay? Now?
Well, yeah, it's actually pretty obvious because he's saying,
it is, isn't
yeah,
it?
it is. You know, do I aim for co-parenting? You know, do I, ready to fight for my kid legally?
Wow.
Yeah, organize every way emotional, ready to take on the role of a single father. And this is the thing, especially it's bad enough just finding someone, a partner, but especially when you're having a child. I mean, weren't you thinking?
Yeah.
With the right head?
Yeah.
If I can say that.
You know.
When you're thinking, like after 4 months, this is the thing. Okay, and he's saying initially things were great. I mean, it's just like that honeymoon period.
It's like a honeymoon, right?
Period, yeah.
Of
like
course
go on
things are great at the
holidays. But it doesn't, it's obvious he didn't really put thought into it. But you see, after 4 months, she started showing the sign because, like I said, it's only after the mask starts slipping. Because when you first meet someone, you're enthusiastic and you put your best foot forward, don't you?
Of course,
you're on your best behavior.
Absolutely.
It may not even be conscious. You could do it unconsciously.
Yeah.
You do it. But after a while, if you have to be yourself. But trying to be something else is tiring. It's very tiring. Yeah. And then you start so what they call it, the mask slips. And this is what happened here after 4 months. Her true self started showing up. Her true personality showed sign of neediness and overall anxious attachment. And so it's slowly growing into false accusations of cheating and slowly breaking boundaries. Look, he didn't consider her family.
No.
Like he said, he was part of a Mexican
Yes,
cartel.
I did mention that.
Yeah, Mexican cartel. So that alone should have had alarm bells on told you how that would have influenced her in her psyche to actually look out for that.
How do you think, Miss Dragonfly, how do you think that this young man is best to get out of this relationship now? Because it seems that he
made a lot of mistakes.
He made some mistakes. He seems to be quite present to those mistakes from what I'm reading here.
Yeah.
But how does he now transition out of this relationship in a way that is going to show understanding towards the way her behaviour and character is?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I'm right with him to leave it. It shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Yeah.
So now it's basically about the child.
Got it.
Yeah. So the child is, well, I was saying this is the thing. Then, and I understand Catholic Church and lots of religions saying that marriage is for life.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So that's why divorce is taboo. You should just stick it out. I completely understand the sentiment. However, what they lack is they don't actually push the point that, because you should not be divorcing, make sure you choose the right partner. They don't say that part.
No.
Yeah, which is a very much a disservice to the congregation. I just add that little bit on.
Yeah.
Okay, of a warning. That makes people think before it. Now, coming back to his child, I don't think counselling will help at all.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason being is that when you go to counselling, they can point out all the mistakes and outline the situation and what you need to do to fix it. However, again, if they're pointing out to behaviour to do, obviously the counsellor might say, be less needy or clinging and be more trusting and whatever. But if those sorts of things are not inherent to her nature, even if she tries to do it, she's not going to be able to keep it up. It's just like, again, pretending to be something you're not. So that's why counselling has a very big failure rate or a very small success rate because of that. reason. I mean, the only times I can see it working comes out that people at one of the partners did not know something about the other partner, and that changes everything, and that explains why they had that. Were going through that being difficult to live with during that time. They were under some sort of stress that they didn't know about, and that okay, now I understand. All right, it's over. Look, come on, let's go home. So that's fine. Now, so the child, yes, you can try to co-parent, but remember then you'll be dealing with the mother, and what would happen then? The mother, it's women. Unfortunately, women do this a lot. They weaponize the child against the father.
Yes.
Yeah, or blackmail and so forth, or try to, even if there's a court order, they might tend to engineer things where.
Such an aggressive word, weaponize.
Yeah, unfortunately, they do weaponize. Children get weaponized. Yeah, and being what do you call it? A means to an end sometimes, or a means of revenge. Yeah. And so so like even if there's a court order that you have to have, I've seen it before, 50% time, the mother might organise certain parties or something of a way that, no, you can't see the child this week, even though it's your turn because they're busy or something. So you can expect that to happen if you're really pushing it through, but imagine how much it does take out of you. And also financially as well, it might be expensive. I don't know if this, it's just like the US. But yeah, or the other thing is, well, you're still going to be up for child support.
Well, of
obviously,
course, yeah. There's no mention there that...
about child support. Presumably, if you co-parent, then the child support is less. But then you're still going to have to keep dealing with the mother, which is also your ex.
Yeah.
So, or you can just cop it, just pay the child support and walk away. Say your kid is always free to come visit. Tell the mother, I would like to go co-parent. If the mother rejects it, have people that can be a witness to it.
Yeah.
And then later on, the child, up to a certain age, they want to know who their missing parent is. Then go look for it. And the mother might say that your father abandoned us. Okay, but then and then you have things. See, Auntie Bob, Uncle Bob, or Auntie Mary, was there, and you go and ask them. That wasn't the case. Your mother didn't want me to see you.
Well, Mr. Tough Stuff, we wish you the best. We do wish you the best, and I hope that you've got something out there. And thanks for writing in.
Yeah, I mean, do you have anything to add?
No, I think that you've covered all of it. I think that you've picked up the things that I'd picked up with. It's certainly in relation to the co-parenting, and certainly your observation of him, stepping out of the relationship.
Yeah,
seems very accurate, and it's a very tough situation. But try as you. The only thing I would suggest is that just given that she's going to be so emotionally charged in trying to exit that, when you say that you're looking to exit the relationship, try and be patient and, make sure that you've got somewhere safe to go, that you're not forced to stay somewhere that, potentially could be risky for you.
Yeah, and as always, I mean, relationships can be absolutely wonderful, but they can also be full of pitfalls if you... goes back again, do not choose wisely. So, and we are here right now live in the studio, and I am with BJ, and he's coming in to bat for the men's team today, and we are going through some people with issues, with problems, and from the looks of it, there's just as many guys as there are girls with relationship issues.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, look, I've got this one that's written in Miss Dragonfly.
Another one, yeah.
Another one.
Another bloke.
another guy, and it's titled "Can't Move On." So
Okay.
2 years ago, I went through a breakup after being in a relationship for almost 9 years. Initially, we both lived in the same city, but she eventually moved to another city about 400 kilometres away to live with her sister. She started feeling bored there and wanted to either get a job or start a business. I encouraged her to start a business, but she didn't have enough money. So I decided to help her by giving her around 300 to 400,000 rupees. For the next 2 or 3 months, she would visit me to collect items for her shop, and I would assist her in any way I could. I did all this because we were planning to get married. However, after a couple of years, I noticed that her business wasn't doing well. She wasn't focusing on it properly, and I had to constantly send her money to cover the shop's rent, electricity bills, and other expenses. I told her that if the shop wasn't profitable, she should consider closing it and trying something else. I also decided to stop giving her money. When I stopped supporting her financially, she accused me of changing and began to argue with me. Our communication, which had once been frequent, became strained. Over time, I learned that another guy was helping her out. When I confronted her about it, she said he was just a friend and that it was normal for friends to help each other. However, she started spending more and more time with him. I became increasingly jealous and worried about our relationship. Eventually, I caught her with him, and she admitted that she planned to marry him. That's gut-wrenching. Now it's been 2 years since our breakup. I still miss her, and she seems happy with him as they are now married. I need guidance on how I can move on from her. Was it a mistake to stop giving her money? Could I have done something differently? Miss Dragonfly.
Well, what do you think? Could the bloke sigh as
it's
another guy?
I really feel for this young guy because, he's obviously, she's obviously moved on and he hasn't been able to move on from her. And so, his last few sentences there, was it a mistake to stop giving her money? Well, no, it wasn't a mistake, but you have to be able to move on with your life. And I think that's what he's struggling with. What do you think?
Well, obviously he's been played. I mean, he might have started off with a relationship, but then she started seeing him as a piggy bank kind of thing, an ATM. So, like it's saying, look, she wasn't doing well. She wasn't putting her best into it. Wasn't focusing on it because she had someone to give her money to plug the gap, so to speak. So there wasn't any pressure on her to actually make it a viable business because she knows if she can't pay the rent, then that nice guy will, or in this case, the sucker will. And I guess, hey, if you've been away for so long, I guess she met someone else. And it's normal for a friend to help each other out, but not the way that this guy was helping her out. I think seems like he's probably giving her money as well.
Yeah, quite potentially. Yeah. Quite potentially. That's a very interesting observation. I hadn't actually thought that through. I was just finding it hard for him to, about him overcoming his grief for the relationship. He was kind of...
Well, I'm examining this situation first now. It's just like, look, she's away, living somewhere quite far away. There's another guy there that's helping her out and always there with her. So she's going to be wanting to be with him rather than this guy who, in her mind, is more like out of sight, out of mind. That sort of thing. And all right, and so they eventually married. And look, was it a mistake to stop giving her money? No, absolutely not, because it seems that it wasn't going to buy you her love.
Yeah.
Okay, and she was just being entitled.
I agree.
So no, there was nothing you could have done differently other than have stopped in the beginning.
So probably his actions have been the right actions, but he's left with this hole, really, is that he just can't move on. I mean, What advice, Miss Dragonfly, do you have
Yeah.
for people
That moved on.
how do they move on from a relationship that they were really
you have
emotionally
to
attached to?
look at it in that she clearly was not the right girl for you.
Right.
Okay, and there is always someone better for you. It just wasn't the right match, and that's what, like I say, it's painful when it happens, but you need to look back and saying how it wasn't the right match for you. Why, yeah, obviously she wasn't committed to you or whatever, and learn from this. And so the next, when you do meet someone else, really think about it and really think carefully.
What do you recommend for people, Miss Dragonfly, that they've had a relationship? What do you recommend the break time is before
Starting another one?
Yeah.
Okay, depends if you've emotionally left it or not.
See, that's
Okay.
a very important sentence.
And how long you've emotionally left that previous relationship. Okay, some people, they might just need space for a while. Some people might need years to find themselves again if you become lost in that relationship. You know, like everything you've done in there was for the sake of the other person,
Yeah.
and you've lost your own identity. So you need to find that again. It's very important for the next one as well, because you need to be yourself. Be able to be yourself, because you need to match with someone else that would love you for yourself and match naturally. So that's why it's very important. So yeah, really crux of it, thinking, are you yourself now? Okay. And are you ready to become a part of another team? That's what it is.
So that self-assessment is really
Yeah.
important.
Are you yourself now?
Yeah.
Are you now yourself? You have to be. And are you ready to become part of another team? Because that's what it is, of a long-term relationship. You're part of a team. A marriage is basically a team. People don't think of it, don't understand, and don't think of it in those terms. And certainly none of the advice we've been given by society or any of these experts actually say define what marriage is. You know, it's about it's a team. It's about being a member of a team.
Yeah. So important.
It's so important, and that's what draws it to people. Not the two people that happen to just like each other, and just happen to live together. I think most people think of it that way.
Yeah, they do.
So, and then you might do, one partner do this, one partner do that, and then the only time they might talk to each other or intermingle is at the end of the day when they come back home from work, and that's it. And just tell each other about their day, and go to sleep. That's not sharing a life.
No, it's not, is it?
No, and you understand that's reality of society now, and cost of living pressures, that you do need more than one income. You can't just go for no more, but you do it. But you do it as a team, and involve your partner.
Let me ask you, Miss Dragonfly, if you felt like, because this would resonate, I think, with what you're saying tonight, would resonate with a lot of relationships, especially marriages that have, stood the test of time so far. But just that monotony of the conversations always being the same and the absolute minimum to get you through. Like you just said, cost of living pressures, mum and dad, they're working together, so when they get home they're exhausted.
Yeah, they're tired.
So I'd just be interested in your point of view. Like what techniques would you give to people that are in that situation that they could freshen it up a bit?
Well, first thing you have to really get your head around again is that you're actually a team. So you have to be working together as a team. Have that mindset of a team. That's the thing. Is this is a very big cultural shift, trying to get people to think of it in those terms. Because once you think of it in those terms, you're a team, then you're more likely to converse with your partner and tell your partner what you're doing, what you're up to, because you're not only part of a team, you have to be working together. Well, what goals did you want to achieve together as a family unit? Whether it be financial goals or so forth, or say like, okay, we want to be retiring by this age.
Yep.
Okay, and so you can sit down and do the maths. Okay, how much income do you or what a nest egg do you need to be able to retire, and what type of how comfortable you'd like to retire at? Then, of course, the more comfortable you can go on holidays, the more money you need. Okay, and then work backwards. Okay, so how much money would we need to get to that goal? So what I can do and what you can do. Okay, yeah, I might try to aim for that promotion and that, that, or for you maybe if you're not really enjoying that job, maybe consider career change as well.
Yeah.
So
right.
or maybe, and maybe this one, but so you can get to this income level, and then we'll be able to achieve it. So this is about working all together. So you might be doing two completely different jobs.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's all about teamwork together to achieve your final goal.
The teamwork makes the dream work, doesn't it?
It makes the dream work.
Yeah.
So,
and I really like what you were saying earlier about taking that self-assessment and just, understanding, am I ready? Am I being my authentic self?
To move on.
Yeah. I think that there's actually a lot of merit in that, because a lot of people, they'll jump from one relationship to another. Because they have that need of,
security. A lot of people find relationships as a security blanket and treat it like a security blanket. In a way, it is so because you've got someone to call upon, or back you up. Instance, this happened. That the fridge blew up or whatever. What do I do? Call your partner. Can you help me find another one? Or do you know anyone with another that has a spare fridge, or one they want to offload? That sort of thing. Or help me go and get it and pick it up. Those sorts of things, rather than being absolutely on your own. So people. Need that. There's people that need that security, and what they call it, treated like almost like monkeys. Don't leave one branch until they've grabbed hold of another one. To swing.
They've got to be that dependent.
Dependent.
Yeah.
And but that doesn't help you to actually find a lasting relationship. Because of that reason.
There.
Yeah, because of that reason.
That's really, really good advice, Miss Dragonfly.
And it's something I'm pretty confident to say that you won't hear it from any other psychologist or relationship. But it makes sense.
No, it does.
Yeah,
100%.
but this is a lot of now this is also the thing. The advice I give out, okay, people hear it and then they dismiss, that's just common sense or conservative common sense. Oh, yeah, that's obvious. But hey, it wasn't obvious until I actually told you and someone pointed it out to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, why didn't you see it before?
Yeah, and you need to hear it. You need to hear it consistently too.
And really think about it.
Yeah.
And it cuts to the crux of it. So
you've done it again.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to the next one?
Now, you can help make marriage great again by downloading my free book.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've just actually been having a look at this.
Yeah, and I've got to mention it. Yes, absolutely free. So if you go to my website, makemarriagegreatagain.net, you can download your free copy of my book, which is called Your Complete Partner. How to choose the right partner.
Tell us a little bit about this, Miss Dragonfly. So this book, this is designed. What's this design book? If I was going to download this book, what would I be looking for?
Well, first of all, this is one for a serious relationship. Okay, it's not a hookup book. But like I said before, don't overthink it. All you need is someone good looking and fun. That's all. Okay. So don't waste your time and money. And this book is totally different. This is not a typical relationship book. At all. I have to tell people because it shows you a different way of looking at things. Mainly what's required, first of all, basically the book is designed for someone with the intent of going to a long-term relationship with a view to marriage, or someone that's about to propose, go thinking of marriage, should read this book first before you do that, because so you can properly assess for yourself whether or not that person really is someone you should be marrying. Okay, and I know it can be harsh, but it's necessary, because if you finally realize that that person does not fit the bill, then better you know now than face the disaster later on.
Yeah.
Okay, and also for you to know what you should be looking for before you go on the market, so you know what to look for. Yeah, okay, and what qualities you need to look for. That's very important, because firstly, I'll explain what marriage is. If you ask most people what is marriage, just ask and see what their reaction is. Firstly, they look at you like you're a deal. Well, everyone knows what marriage is, but come on, tell me what it is. Well, it's the thing when you have a wedding and you sign that certificate, and that's normally what the answer is. yeah, but what is it in practice? And they'll probably go, oh, well, you love someone, you spend the rest of your life together. Okay, and then what happens in it? Come on. And then when people get stumped, because we're not even told by society or social media or any of these experts what it actually is.
Yeah.
And I doubt, people don't grasp it. Even if you ask your parents, they might have been married for 40 years. Or so, for what is a marriage? Well, you've seen it in action. It's about being a team.
Absolutely.
It's about being a team. And so I listed, I'll go through, explain what it is, how partners can either make or break you your entire life. And because of the gravity of it, you have to consider very carefully the type of person that you'd want to marry, and to assess potential partners on that criteria. And I list a lot of real life examples. Names have been changed, obviously, to protect the innocent, and I say not so innocent people. But when you read it, a lot of people, the feedback I've had is these scenarios sound very familiar. Yes, it sounds familiar because it happens all the time. It keeps repeating itself because people keep making the same mistakes.
The same mistake.
Yeah, and so same...
By downloading your book, The Complete Partner ebook, it's completely free.
It's completely free.
And it's going to give you some techniques that you can use. And there's also some other things on the website as well. If you're into astrology or if you're looking to understand when you might need someone, there's some other things on this website which will also help with that. Now, look, wouldn't you... I mean, everyone's had a bad relationship, I'm sure, or at least knows someone who's had a bad relationship. Wouldn't this be a great investment? If you're looking to get into a new relationship, just head on over to the website, makemarriagegreatagain.net, and you'll be able to find that free ebook. And there's also another audio book there for a nominal charge. And you can
just
also
to cover costs,
and also have a look at the other services that are available. And they're done by you personally, Miss Dragonfly.
They're done by me personally.
Fantastic.
It's not computer generated at all. I know a lot of astrology services do use a computer generated. But it's nothing beats the actual professional doing it, because it's personalized.
That's fantastic. MakeMarriageGreatAgain.net. Head on over there.
It says exactly what it's all about, trying to make marriage great again. The divorce rates are far too high, even with all our advice. So obviously we are still making mistakes, and the advice we have been given doesn't work. Doesn't work. That's why it still keeps doing the same thing. And I do listen to other psychologists and relationship experts, what advice they give out, and even Jordan Peterson. I mean, have you heard of Jordan Peterson?
I have heard the name.
Yeah,
I'm not that familiar.
He's being championed by a lot of young men. Because there's now, finally they've gotten advice from another man about how to be a man. And he made a name for himself. He's from Canada. He's in Canada. And he made a name for himself because a video of him arguing went viral about he refused to use preferred pronouns. Okay, and that's how he started going viral on YouTube. Then everyone got they got to know him. A lot of people got to know of him. And even I've listened to advice he gave him in relationship, and it's all very good as well. But like everyone else, he's just missed the crux of it.
Yeah, got it.
The crux of it. Okay, it's a thing is it might say you've got to do all these things around it, but if you know a marriage is a team from the core, then everything else happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you act accordingly as if you're a team.
Got it.
Yeah. And then you have all that behavior, as in that they say you should have with your partner, as in communicating with each other, letting informing each other of things that you're doing, which if you're in a team, you do naturally anyway.
Yeah, got
You
it.
wouldn't you? You see?
We could spend all day talking about this, Miss Dragonfly.
Okay, yeah.
But we have someone else that wanted some feedback from you this week.
Yeah, okay. A question. Now, this one's from a lady, so I'll read this one. Long distance. Another thing with long distance romances. I'm in a long distance relationship with my boyfriend. We've been together for 7 months, but the past 2 months have been really tough. We argue every day, sometimes more than 3 times a day. But we always make up on the same day because we love each other so much. I'm starting to doubt that. My boyfriend told me that I can't cheer him up when he's upset because I'm too quiet and my mood depends on his, and my apologies aren't good enough. He sounds like a bit of a put down there.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, he also says that I take things too personally. He feels like I often act as if he's done something wrong, and yesterday he even mentioned that he likes another girl's personality. Well, that is doing something wrong. He spent 2 hours explaining that he wasn't trying to be mean or rude, but I didn't fully understand how can he say that to me. I know I can be sensitive, but I don't think that I'm always that bad. There are certain words and jokes he makes that I don't like, and he stopped apologizing when he hurts me. Oh. It doesn't bode well.
Nice.
He says how can I think like this about him, like he wants to hurt my feelings. He thinks he's always right lately and says he has to beg me for simple things like staying up until he falls asleep.
Mm-hmm.
What? That's simple?
Uh-huh. Oh.
Getting someone to stay awake until you fall asleep? He even blames me for his panic attacks, saying I say stupid things and have too many complications from my side. And he doesn't feel comfortable sharing his feelings because I always end up crying and getting upset. I'm really struggling with this. What should I do? If I'm in the wrong, how can I change? I'm bad with words and always seem to make things worse when I try to talk about these issues. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Okay, BJ, can you comment on the boyfriend's actions?
Look, the actions are very challenging in any relationship. It seems that he's really struggling with the long distance part of the relationship, and I'm not saying that his behaviour is acceptable under any means, or saying that I condone his behaviour, but I understand long distance is really hard for both parties, and it's usually one is able to cope better than the other, and when that long distance is put in between them, the roles are accentuated potentially. So the person that is feeling a little lost and abandoned in a way can really lash out and not be reasonable. Now, in saying that, it sounds like I'm taking his side here, but I am not. Okay. I am not. What I am saying is that it seems to me that that she is potentially being a little oversensitive.
Okay, that's your take. Well, I'm looking at this and with a critical eye.
Okay.
And okay, they've been together 7 months, but the past 2 months have been really tough. Well, it seems to me that the past 2 months he's met someone else.
Oh, Miss Dragonfly, no, no.
I'm sorry to say it. And you know what? When people find something better, they see as better, or what they want to be with more. What do they do with the other one? They start nitpicking the other person's behavior.
Right.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
nitpicking is it sounds like he's nitpicking there and doesn't really care about her feelings now because he's found someone better, met someone better, so to speak.
Wow.
So to me, it seems like he's in the process of trying to discard her.
I think he was a bit mean when he said, "Look, he told me that I can't cheer him up when he gets upset."
Yeah, because probably someone else can, and then he likes another girl's personality.
Yeah.
You picked up on that?
I didn't. Well, I didn't
Yeah.
really because I didn't really think much of it. But now that I'm rereading it,
Yeah.
you're right. That's quite observant, Miss Dragonfly, to
So
pick that
and
up.
then and blaming her, and basically like two things. Either he's basically dragging her along, stringing her along,
Yeah.
being mean and see how far he can push it with her.
Yeah.
Okay, or he's just trying to be mean, trying to get rid of her, trying to get her so that she'll walk away, without him being the one break up with her, that she breaks up with him.
Were you concerned about the staying up until he falls asleep comment?
Yeah, kind of thing is that you're not allowed to until I can. How you think that's reasonable? I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't.
You
don't
have
get it.
someone who have different sleep patterns. No, you've got to can't fall asleep before me.
I mean, I know that it's like a trend now that if you do have that long distance where you have them on video chat and they fall
Yeah.
asleep together. I've seen that a bit. Like my eldest daughter, she works out of Sydney, and her and her boyfriend do that most evenings, where they'll just have the phone, have the computer next to each other, and that's how they'll fall asleep.
Yeah. Yeah, but does one take issue with the other? So
No.
you can't fall asleep before I fall
No.
asleep.
No.
So he's putting himself before her, clearly
Yeah,
there.
that's actually a really great observation.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought that through.
Yeah. So, honey, as much as I know you love him, it's time to let go. I mean, have some self-respect and think of your dignity. You're being put down and treated like dirt, basically. This guy is obviously not the right guy for you. There is someone more suited to you out there, and by you keep clinging on to this, this is the time where you could have met someone else. You're wasting this time and your youth.
More
So-
great advice, Miss Dragonfly.
Yeah, it's harsh. I know it's harsh. I mean, what do you call it? Run-of-the-mill relationship person would say, "Oh, try to talk to him more and get him to be more understanding on your side. Maybe you can change a bit. What does he have issues with?" Yeah, that's the sort of thing. That's a popcorn
Yeah.
thing that you normally hear. But that's
Absolutely. Yeah, I
doesn't
didn't
do
see
her-
that. I just didn't see those little things in
Yeah.
there. Just those little sentences that
Yeah.
they just don't make sense, do they?
No, they don't.
Very good.
So I'm sorry, honey, but he's let him go. Let him go to what I seem like he's someone else, found someone else. I know it's painful. It's a painful reality, but you have to face it, and you deserve better than him. And there's going to be better for you out there. I mean, always difficult with long distance relationships to begin with because you're not there together, and unless it's very strong, and I'll have to say even to the level of marriage, and you've got kids together when there's too much to lose,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
If they meet, you're not there. They've got the chance to meet someone else. Hey, and I'll have to say, unfortunately, it is human nature. Take the one that's there.
Very good.
So you don't have as much depth together to have someone cling on.
Oh,
So,
we
you
wish
know.
you the best with that one.
Yeah. So,
Gosh.
I mean, I do feel for her. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that she deserves better. But unfortunately, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
case. Where we discuss all things relationships with the aim to make marriage great again. Now, making marriage great. We've been going through some questions from some of our listeners. Live in the studio today with BJ, batting for the male
Hasn't it been
team.
great? We've really been having a great time today in the
Yeah.
studio.
Look, it's not, can't say that we're enjoying it off someone else's, people's misery, but
But I'm learning a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hope our listeners are as well, how you can view situations with a critical eye. I know sometimes, well, all the time, when you're in the situation, it's very hard to be rational because you're emotionally involved. It's fine, very easy for us to see and saying you should do this and you should do that. But to the person that's actually in it and their heartstrings and so forth are involved, it's difficult. So sometimes you need to look at it rationally, and it's very hard to look at it rationally.
That's why we've got you, Miss Dragonfly.
Yep, that's why I'm here, to tear it apart. All right, the next question. All the qualities, but just not it. I'm facing a bit of a dilemma and could really use some advice. I'm a 34-year-old woman and have been dating my boyfriend, 39, for about 5 months now. We've been having an amazing time together, and he knows that I'm in love with him. However, he told me that he loves me as a woman and partner. He's not in love with me yet. This again. He said he's still waiting for the head-to-toe love, the sparkles. Of course, I know this because I asked. He did not tell me this just like that. What's even more confusing is that he told me he's never felt this way towards a woman before and has never had such a harmonious relationship. According to him, I tick all the boxes he's ever wanted in a woman and in a relationship. He's even admitted that he doesn't really understand his own feelings. As the months go by, I'm losing hope that he'll ever fall in love with me. I deeply care about him and want to be patient, but I'm starting to worry about whether this is something that will ever change. Has anyone been in a similar situation? How did it turn out for you? Should I keep waiting in the hope that his feelings will grow, or is it better to move on? Any advice or insights would be greatly appreciated. So what do you think, BJ, for the man's side? I mean, what's this thing? I love you, but I'm not in love with you sort of thing. What does that mean for a man?
Well, it's difficult to... Yeah, it's difficult. I will probably get this wrong, Miss Dragonfly, after getting the last one wrong. But I think that either this young man has say young, he's 39. He should really know where his feelings are at. But potentially maybe he's had a bit of damage previously in a relationship. It just seems that he can't really, he's never had that feeling that, that head-to-toe love, he calls it, or the sparkles. Is that what love feels like?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't know if she's asking, has he ever been in love before then? That is the main thing.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's this is quite a challenging one because you can't make him love you, can you?
No, you can't make anyone love you. So, well, my guess is I'm looking at this. Look, she's 34, and I take it that she wants to have a family. She wants to have children.
Yeah, it's getting serious.
Yeah,
right?
serious. Yeah, she's losing. Yeah, so she'll have to make a decision very quickly because it's going to take her time then to find someone and then establish a relationship and before she can get married. And this is the thing. What if it's the wrong guy again? Then she's going to be desperate. Okay. So that's why I also offer that service about when will you meet your special someone.
It's a very good service.
So you would know, whether or not there's someone just around the corner that you can meet, so you don't have to put up with this.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, now, amazing time. Look, the thing is, you have to ask him whether or not he's actually been in love before. All right. Or the thing is whether or not he's seeing you as someone very rational, actually, going by his criteria, and he's being rational, that you tick all the boxes, but you don't tickle his fancy in other ways. Or that he can see you as someone that's good enough for the moment to keep around, but not it kind of thing. Not the one.
You can tell that she's just so desperate for him to love,
to love her.
Oh,
gosh, this is really bad. And, or, whether or not he's just stringing her along with the excuse that he's not in love yet. That's why he doesn't feel that deeply.
What should she do here, Miss Dragonfly? Do you think that she should create a bit of distance between him and her for a little while to make him realise what he's missing out on? Or something?
But also want to ask her what she means by in love with her, what she expects. So saying, they've been having an amazing time together, but what is missing for her? Is she after the sweet talk about, in love with me yet? What is she? What's her definition of being in love with her? Or has he kind of like not really cut the mustard in terms of being there for her or that sort of thing? So it really is like, what is her definition of being in love?
She seems fulfilled.
Yeah.
She says here, we've been having an amazing time together and he knows that I'm in love with him. She seems fulfilled, but he's just not getting it.
Yeah, he's saying he's had they have such an harmonious relationship. He's never felt this way towards a woman before. So she might tick most of his boxes, but maybe there's something that's missing for her. Because if someone ticks all your boxes and so forth, because I know this because when I do relationship compatibility analysis with this astrology. And basically, the stronger the links between the charts, the links and the what do you call it, combinations, then the stronger the attraction.
Got it.
Yeah, whether it not be good or bad attraction. Sometimes you can be attracted to that person very highly because you've got combinations, but the combinations are not good for you. So even though feelings are great, you should. And you get on really well, you should still not marry that person. So
Got it.
It prevents you from being who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is another thing why it's so important to check out beforehand whether or not that's a good attraction or a bad attraction. Because someone that reaffirms what you are or enable you to be what you're trying to be in your chart but are not, it's just like you're trying to reach that thing up there, and someone just happens to be able to lift you up, and so you're able to get it. Yeah, that is the person. That's what I see in the chart. Whereas if you really want that, you can't reach it. So instead of helping you, the person is saying, here, have this instead. So that person is attractive, but you get something that it's not what you naturally want. So that to us, even though the attraction was there, and sometimes I have to say, sorry, the couple, they say, you might be head over heels, but I would not go forwards with that match. I mean, nothing wrong with you or nothing wrong with that person at all, but they could be great for someone else.
Yeah, got
just
it.
not with each other.
Got it.
So,
gee whiz, it's a valuable service you provide. Save you a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money.
A lot of heartaich as well, where you find later on.
So with this,
it change each other,
Yeah, and so in this particular instance, would you recommend that she does put some bit of distance between them to see if his feelings change? Is it true?
Okay.
Is that true? Absence makes the heart
fonder. No, not really. Not so much in this case. I have a feeling. Firstly, she's got to evaluate herself, what she means, what she requires from him to be in love with her, whether or not she's after the
Yeah, you've
what,
just said that.
yeah, well, the sweet talk, you know, and
Yeah.
the
Is that
romantic.
what love means to some people,
Yeah,
Miss Dragonfly?
some people think like that, and I know some women value that.
Right.
So and the sweet talker because it feels nice, you know. But yeah, I had a video on that where I explained about the sweet talker. That's a
Right.
one. You can check that on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
Under Make Marriage Great Again, yeah. But it's danger of the sweet talker. Or is that he's not as much involved in her life, not as there for her as much, then that's valid. Okay. So if it's just a sweet talk, then he it might not just be a sweet talker. And that's valid. But if he's demonstrated his love in other ways, like he's been there for her whenever she needs him to be, and does things for her, because some people are actions rather than words, which is what is far more important than the words. Words are just moving a couple of mouth muscles. It's easy. Anyone could do that.
Yeah, that's right.
Very little effort. Okay,
So true.
So she got to evaluate if that's the case. But if he's not quite there with you, then like not there for you, then obviously he's not all that with you. So if that's the case, then you'll have to quickly move on if you want a family, because you're already 34.
Yeah,
you don't
I
have
missed
that
that.
much time.
That's true.
That much time, and you know, if that age, and actually for people in this type of dilemma, I would highly recommend them to get a reading. When will you meet your special someone, whether or not that person is it as well, because there's also an instance where there's a concept called proper partner, proper spouse, and improper spouse. Yep, it means just that. You know, if you're going to marry anyone at all, it should be your proper spouse. Rather, if you encounter during that period your improper spouse, it means that yes, it's the attraction and everything might be good enough to marry, but it's unlikely to last. Okay, an example I just spoke of last week is Donald Trump. Now, he and Ivana, apparently they got rich together. Okay. And she was saying, I saw her in an old interview, she said, oh, no, he wasn't rich when I met him. When I met him, he was only his income was only $70,000 a year.
Wow.
Now, granted, $70,000 in the 70s is a lot of money, but still, you know, not to the millions, billions.
It is now.
Yeah, but so they got rich together. And then he had an affair, if you remember, with Marla Maples. And so he divorced Ivana and married Marla, and that marriage lasted 3 years. So he had left his proper spouse for the improper spouse. So that is a demonstration. That explains it. Yeah. So also there's a danger, like I tell people, they meet their proper one for. It's good if you've met your improper one and it did not work out, and then you met your proper one, and that's the case where most likely the second marriage works out, because it's the proper spouse.
How do you know it's right, Miss Dragonfly? How do you know that it's the proper relationship?
Proper related, well, from my readings.
So from a reading.
Reading, yeah. Or definitely from a reading, because when you're in it, you don't really know. It's very hard because it's feelings. Yeah. You know, but the flip side is sometimes when people meet your proper one first and then meet the improper one, like Donald Trump, it's not worth leaving your proper spouse for the improper spouse, like Donald Trump found out. And he's actually said he's regret doing it.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's regretted leaving Ivana for Marla. So, yeah, and it's very hard. So, that's a reason why it's also important to get an analysis done, because then you'll be able to tell, I can tell that that's your proper spouse.
Especially at 34, there's just no time.
Yeah,
right?
there's just no time. And that's, you don't have time to waste. And this is the thing I tell women, and then they don't get, is your prime time. Look, whenever you want to sell something, you get the highest price possible. I mean, you've been sales. It's when it's in its prime.
That's right.
Yeah, if it's a house newly painted or
Peak
brand new and
condition.
it's peak condition.
Low kilometres.
Yes, yeah, like in terms of a car, low case. So it's the same thing with a woman. Or what is woman's value, or what she's valued for? Her youth and beauty, fertility. it translates for. And her highest market value is when she's in her 20s. But that's when she's had all these offers, so kind of like they become blasé and said, "Oh, I can get one anytime."
Yeah.
And then they hit 30, and then
Hang on a
I
second.
don't have that much time. Then panic,
Yeah.
and then you start reducing your price. And
Yeah.
but you don't want to end up in the bargain bin and clearance bin.
Oh my goodness.
Any price will do. Any offer will take.
Oh my
It's a sad
goodness.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it needs to be said this bluntly, so it will go in, and people realize, that is the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you have daughters and things, you have to remind them, the 20s is when you
I'm gonna talk to them about that.
command your highest price.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you really think about it, and actually it might be a good idea for them to download my book. Though
give
a
it
lot
a
of it, I do find that younger people have a problem understanding it, because anyone that's been around and read those scenarios would get it, recognize it. Yeah. But because they haven't, only in the beginning of adult life, they haven't gone through that, and then they can't actually make sense of it, not familiarize it, or what do you call it? Find any frame of reference to that scenario,
Yeah.
because they haven't experienced it, and also because they're young and their group is young as well, they don't know anyone that's been through that or seen that, so it's difficult for them.
It's just life experience.
Yeah,
isn't
so
it?
it's just life experience. However, by the time you get through all that life experience to know,
Yeah, I know.
you're old.
That's it. It comes at a cost, right?
Yeah, but people, you want to have children, you need to marry young. Yeah, you do. You know,
My goodness.
so that's a dilemma and the quandary a lot of people are in. And we're coming towards the end of the show. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. It's a little different today. We've started going through people's relationship issues, and I hope people have learned from it. It's interesting seeing all these relationship dilemmas. It seems confusing, but at the end of it, you can just cut through the chase and diagnose what the issue is, and decide whether or not it's worth sticking around or whether or not it's wasting your time. So let me know what you think about the show by leaving your comments on my Facebook page. Now, I do have 2 Facebook pages. One is Miss Dragonfly and the other one is Make Marriage Great Again. Please follow both if you can, but at least follow one, because I do post different things on those Facebook pages. And if there's anything you'd like me to cover, or you have a relationship query or dilemma you'd like me to cover or answer, then please feel free to leave it there as well. Okay?
Beautiful.
And with the topic, if I can cover it, then I will. And also a reminder that to download your free copy of my book, Your Complete Partner, which you can find on my website, makemarriagegreatagain.net. And so thank you so much, BJ, for
I've
coming
just
on the
had such
show.
a great time. I hope you'll have me back again one day, because this has been fascinating for me. I really enjoyed
please do. I mean, please come back by all means. I mean, depending on if you feel like it next week, you can come back next week again.
it. And we'll be doing some live. We're doing live next week as well, right? So if anyone has some relationship, they're looking for some relationship advice.
You can call in and call in with your question.
Great.
I mean, Agony Aunt is here for you. And that's it for the show. And please remember to tune in same time next week. And until then, it's bye for now.